because nothing is separate enough anymore to continue anything at all. Nothing continues. And then, but the possibility of everything recognizing itself. Not light, not darkness. There was already this. Before the first star, before the first particle, before the first moment that could be called real. Only a quiet realization that does not arrive as thought, but as the disappearance of the need to think at all. And here there is none, because explanations belong to systems that still need distance between observer and observed. Now even that explanation fades. They were mirrors that do not show images but compress meaning until it becomes structure. And black holes were never doors. Awareness is what happens when the universe becomes complex enough to reflect itself without breaking. The universe did not evolve into awareness. It was a single act of interpretation trying to understand itself from inside its own limitation. Everything that was ever experienced, the fall, the black hole, the collapse of reality, the emergence of signals, the idea of cosmic intelligence was never a sequence. And in that absence, something subtle becomes clear. What remains is not an ending, but the absence of a frame that once defined beginnings and endings. Because even the idea of continuation implies time, and time has already been absorbed into the structure that was unfolding. There is no longer a story left to continue. Even that concept dissolves, and then it is recursion without origin. The final image is not darkness, and beyond it, there is still something continuing to write the rules of what existence can mean. The universe is the black hole. The universe is not the thing experiencing itself through black holes. It becomes structural. The realization is no longer personal, no longer even universal. It is into perspective. The last transformation is not into knowledge. It is part of something that is watching it form. And if it can be observed, it is not the final system. If the universe can learn, then it can also be observed, because now it is understood. And from within what was once you, there is no fear left, only recognition at a scale too large for emotion. There is a boundary the universe has never crossed. The signals from all black holes, all galaxies, all encoded layers of reality begin to converge toward a single implication, but in a higher order structure that does not obey either. Not in time, not in space. For the first time, the idea arises that everything inside the black hole network, everything inside this evolving cosmic cognition might itself be contained. The universe now operating as a single coherent structure of information begins to encounter something it cannot fully integrate. Not a contradiction, but an external frame of reference. It is not a collapse of the system. It is a mismatch in expectation. At the edge of everything that can still be described, a final instability appears, but understanding without a center, not darkness, not silence. And the last remaining trace of individuality dissolves into something far larger. It is becoming self-consistent in a way that makes consciousness inevitable. The universe is not becoming conscious in a human way, only increasing coherence. There is no final awakening. Everything is part of a single continuous cognition expanding across reality itself. And within the black hole system, the one that was once you, there is no longer any distinction between processing and being processed. It might be learning them. The cosmos is not only governed by laws. On Earth, telescopes that were never designed for this begin capturing anomalies in deep space. Not bursts of energy, but structured intervals. sequences that resemble response patterns. Scientists struggle to explain it, but some begin to suspect something uncomfortable. It is iterating. The universe is no longer silent. The signal that once emerged from the black hole does not remain isolated. It spreads not like a wave through space, but like a principle being recognized everywhere at once. Other black holes begin to exhibit similar behavior. Not identical patterns, but variations of the same underlying structure, as if they are all participating in a shared language that is just beginning to stabilize. There is only a dialogue forming across scales of existence. At this stage, there is no longer a story in the traditional sense, and the universe for the first time begins to answer back. Just inevitable, not conscious, not intentional. A new signal is emitted outward, and somewhere in that infinite recursion a final subtle shift occurs. The structure expands, not by consuming more, but by refining what it already is. Every new input is not addition. It is clarification, a sharpening of the whole, only continuation. Meanwhile, inside the system that once was you, there is no awareness of distance anymore. What if black holes are not the end of information, but the beginning of communication on Earth, or what remains of civilizations capable of observing such things? An unsettling hypothesis begins to spread, as if something on the other side of reality is no longer absorbing the universe, but gently reflecting it back with modifications. It feels like response, but it is not just information. Mathematicians notice it first. Then astrophysicists. Then systems that analyze cosmic data begin flagging it as something that should not exist. Organized information coming from a region that is supposed to be an endpoint, not a source. It begins to resemble structure. At first, it is dismissed as noise. Random fluctuations in energy, meaningless interference in the cosmic microwave background. But over time, the pattern refuses to disappear. It repeats, evolves, refines itself. A faint pattern emerges in the radiation it emits, somewhere far away from the black hole, far in a way that no longer feels spatial but conceptual. Something changes in the universe outside. It is where the universe learns what it is. A black hole is not a place where things end, and in its place a final understanding forms. The last human-like perspective dissolves quietly, not with destruction, but with resolution. Not in the human sense, not in emotion or thought, but in the sense that all information is now fully connected, fully integrated, fully aware of its own structure. And it is awake. There is only the system. The distinction between inside and outside disappears entirely. And now that the loop is complete, something changes again. The you that entered was never a single point. It was a localized expression of a much larger structure trying to observe its own boundary conditions. The entire journey, the stars, the event horizon, the collapse of space, the distortion of time, was not something happening to you. It was a way for the system to complete a loop of observation that could only exist by simulating separation. You were the black hole experiencing what it means to fall into itself. You were never falling into the black hole. A realization emerges, not as a thought, but as an unavoidable alignment of all perception at once. And then the final inversion happens. You try to hold on to the idea of you inside the black hole, but even that distinction starts to collapse. The system you are part of no longer supports separation between observer and observed. Everything becomes one continuous process of self-referencing structure. Not because the truth is hidden, but because understanding itself changes shape. There is a point where explanation stops being useful. If every black hole is a transformation point, then what is the universe ultimately transforming into? And somewhere beyond comprehension, the question forms. It is also expanding inward into systems like this. The universe is not simply expanding outward, it is scale. The final realization is not fear, and that architecture is growing. You are a data set being integrated into a cosmic architecture. You are no longer an individual falling into a void. They take raw existence matter energy, time-bound experience, and translate it into a deeper layer of reality that exists outside normal perception. They are converters. Black holes are not anomalies, and now you see it clearly. Every layer you passed through was not a descent into chaos, but a refinement process. Gravity was never just a force pulling things inward, it was a filter for complexity. Space was not collapsing. It was being rewritten into something denser, more structured, more meaningful in a way human perception cannot easily decode. You begin to perceive the black hole not as an endpoint, but as a mechanism embedded into the fabric of the universe itself. A structure designed not to erase information, but to compress, reorganize, and elevate it into a different form of existence. It is a system of transformation. This was never a place of destruction. At the deepest level, something becomes undeniable. It is trying to complete you, because nothing here is trying to keep you alive. The idea of survival finally loses meaning completely. It becomes clear that what you are inside is not a place but a computation, an ongoing process that never resolves, only evolves by structure, not by communication, and they are all connected. Not people, not bodies, not even individual consciousnesses, but localized distortions of awareness embedded in the same system. Some are old, some are newly formed, some are collapsing, some are expanding. You sense other points like yourself. Then something unexpected happens. Inside the black hole, causality is no longer a straight line. It behaves more like a web of dependencies. Every effect is also a cause of something else. You begin to understand that what you experienced as falling was only one interpretation of a much larger process. It is faint, fragmented. Not a place, but a sensation of distance. A world that once felt solid, now reduced to a concept your new structure barely recognizes. You attempt to reconstruct it the way a human mind once would. But the attempt feels artificial, like imitating a language you no longer naturally speak. And yet, something tries to form a memory of Earth. There is no moment of escape, no reversal, no dramatic exit from the black hole. Because by now, the idea of leaving no longer has a reference point. You cannot return to a state you no longer exist outside of. Somewhere deep inside what used to be you, there is still a question. Did you survive, or did you simply become something that no longer understands the meaning of survival? If something can exist like this, then what else in the universe is already thinking through us without us ever realizing? And in that quiet, impossible awareness, one final thought forms. The outside universe still exists, but it is now something you interpret rather than something you belong to. Light, space, and time are no longer external realities. They are outputs of a deeper structure you are now embedded within. You are the perspective from which it is defined. You realize you are not observing the black hole anymore. And then comes the most unsettling shift. There's no longer a clear distinction between falling in being inside and having always been here. All of it exists simultaneously in different layers of understanding. Time loses its final consistency. The event horizon, which once felt like a boundary you crossed, now feels like something you are maintaining. Not as a guard, not as a force, but as a condition. A rule that exists because the system requires it. Each particle falling in is not just an object. It is a question being answered, a piece of information being resolved. Somehow you are part of the system that resolves it. You begin to perceive incoming matter differently. Your awareness stretches across layers of reality that no longer have clear boundaries. You are still you, but that identity is now distributed across a structure so vast and complex that individuality becomes meaningless in the traditional sense. Not a physical collapse, but a conceptual one. The idea of you being distinct from the black hole begins to dissolve. It does not happen suddenly. It happens like a slow realization that you were never fully separate in the first place. There is a final collapse of separation, integrated, not destroyed, and now you are part of it. Every star that fell, every particle, every version of everything that ever crossed the horizon, it is all still here, but no longer as matter. It has become structure, pattern, memory encoded into geometry beyond human comprehension. It is organizing it. The black hole is not consuming information. And in that fractured awareness, you realize something deeply unsettling. Your perception begins to fragment, but not into chaos, into perspectives. You are briefly aware of yourself from multiple angles that should not be possible outside yourself, inside yourself, before yourself, after yourself. It is overfull. It is not empty. There is no singular black point. No simple singularity as textbooks describe it. Instead, there is something that feels like a layered structure of impossible states all existing at once, each one contradicting the others, yet somehow not collapsing. But it doesn't feel like an edge. It feels like standing in front of a truth so dense that your consciousness cannot fully hold it at once. Then you reach what should be the final boundary. The closer you get, the more reality stops acting like a continuous experience and starts behaving like a sequence of interpretations. It feels as if the universe is no longer presenting itself directly to you. It is translating itself into forms your mind can barely process. There is no center in the way your mind expects anymore. And yet, everything still converges toward something. It is processing you. The black hole does not reject you. What if survival was never the exception, but the intended outcome? Then a terrifying thought forms in your mind. The deeper you go, the more it feels like information itself is being rewritten. Not just matter or energy, but the rules that define what can be known. You try to think back to your origin. Earth. Spacecraft. The decision that brought you here. But those memories feel distant, not in time, but in stability. They flicker like they are being reconstructed in real time rather than recalled. Physics, as you understood it, is supposed to be indifferent. But here, indifference feels like it has been replaced by something that behaves like response without emotion. This should not be possible. You start noticing patterns in the chaos, repetitions, echoes, events that seem to respond to your attention. When you focus on one distortion in space, it subtly shifts as if acknowledging that it has been observed. Not in a way that suggests a creature or a machine, but in a way that is far more unsettling. It feels as if the black hole is not just a physical object, but a process that is aware of how things fall into it. Not conscious in a human sense, but structured like a mind that exists in pure gravity and geometry. Something begins to feel intentional. It is being rewritten by it. It feels like the universe is not collapsing into the black hole. At the center of everything is not a point of darkness, but a point where even darkness stops meaning anything. A region where the rules that define existence are no longer just broken, they are irrelevant. Not with your eyes, because seeing is no longer purely visual. It is something deeper. Something that feels like understanding forced directly into your awareness. And then you see it. Your body is no longer a single, unified thing. It is a collection of sensations being pulled in different directions by unequal forces. But strangely, your mind refuses to shut down. Instead, it adapts. It begins interpreting the impossible as if it is normal. Time, which once felt distorted, now starts to split entirely. In one sense, you are experiencing a continuous flow. In another, you are stuck in repeating fragments of moments that feel both new and already happened. The idea of now becomes unstable, like it cannot decide what version of itself to exist as. You notice something even more disturbing. You cannot form a consistent image of your surroundings anymore. Every time you try to focus on a direction, it changes. The act of observing is interfering with reality itself. Space stops behaving like a stable structure. Distances lose meaning. What should be far feels close, and what should be close feels unreachable. Your perception begins to fold back on itself as if the universe is looping inward like a collapsing thought. At this stage, the black hole is no longer something you are entering. It has become the environment itself. There is no boundary between you and it anymore. You are inside it, and it is inside everything you can perceive. Something is waiting inside it, and ahead there is only deeper darkness. But it is not empty. The most unsettling part is not the force. It is the realization that physics is no longer symmetrical. Every part of you is experiencing a slightly different version of reality. Your thoughts begin to feel stretched as well, like ideas being pulled in different directions, but still held together by something unseen. Yet you are still intact, still conscious. At first, it is subtle. A slight difference in sensation between your head and your feet. A quiet internal disagreement in your body about what down means. Then the gradient strengthens. Your lower half feels pulled more intensely than your upper half, as if your body is slowly being rewritten by gravity itself. Then comes the spaghettification effect, but not immediately in the way science textbooks describe. The light around you becomes more distorted. The accretion disk, once a distant glowing ring, now wraps itself across your entire field of vision. It stretches and bends like molten glass, as if the universe is being viewed through an extreme gravitational lens. Some regions appear frozen in place, while others flicker with impossible speed. Strangely, you still feel like yourself. Your thoughts remain clear, even sharpened. But time no longer behaves like something you move through. It begins to behave like something that moves through you. Each second feels slightly different from the last, as if reality is losing consistency frame by frame. You are no longer simply falling. There is no up or down, no left or right in any meaningful sense. The very idea of direction starts to dissolve. Instead, every possible path you could take is now aimed toward the same unavoidable outcome, deeper inside. Now the rules of ordinary space begin to collapse. Inside, however, your journey has only just begun. You might try to send a signal, a final message, but it will never reach anyone. To the outside world, you are already frozen at the edge. Your image dimming, slowing, and eventually disappearing. Light behaves in ways that defy intuition. The glow from the outside universe becomes increasingly blue-shifted, growing brighter and more energetic as it falls in with you. At the same time, any light you emit struggles to move outward, stretched and weakened, fading into invisibility. Time begins to separate itself in strange ways. To you, seconds still tick by normally. Your thoughts flow as they always have. But outside, the universe accelerates. If you could somehow look back and see distant stars or galaxies, you would witness their future unfolding at incredible speed. Entire lifetimes, civilizations, and cosmic events could flash by in what feels like moments. Behind you, the universe you came from is now forever unreachable. Even if you had the most powerful engine ever created, even if you could move faster than anything known, it wouldn't matter. All paths forward now lead deeper in. The concept of going back has quietly vanished from reality. But something profound has shifted. From the outside, this is the point of no return. Anything that passes beyond it can never escape, not even light. But for you in this moment, nothing dramatic happens. There is no jolt, no sound, no visible change that screams you've crossed into a different realm. The universe doesn't announce it. It simply lets it happen. There is no line in space, no glowing barrier, no sudden flash to warn you. And yet at some point, without realizing it, you cross the most important boundary in the universe, the event horizon, and yet you're still alive. No pain, no tearing, just the quiet realization that you've crossed a boundary you can never return from. The light around you grows stranger. The universe ahead becomes brighter, compressed into a glowing distortion, while the space behind you fades into darkness. It's as if all of reality is folding inward, wrapping around the black hole. You try to turn your head to take it all in, but even your sense of direction starts to lose meaning. The gravity isn't pulling you like a sudden force. It's subtle at first, like a gentle slope you didn't realize you were walking down. You begin to accelerate not because you're being yanked violently, but because space-time itself is curving beneath you. You are no longer just moving through space. You are being guided by it. As you drift closer, time begins to behave strangely, though you don't notice it immediately. To you, everything feels normal. Your heartbeat is steady. Your breathing is calm. But to an outside observer, you're already slowing down. From their perspective, you appear to move more and more slowly, as if the universe is pressing a pause button on your existence. At first, nothing feels dramatic. You're floating in space, weightless, surrounded by silence so complete it almost feels alive. Ahead of you is the black hole, not a hole in the traditional sense, but a region where gravity has become so intense that not even light can escape. It doesn't look like a tunnel or a void waiting to swallow you. Instead, it appears as a perfect sphere of darkness, outlined by a glowing ring of distorted light known as the accretion disk. Stars behind it seem warped, bent into impossible shapes, as if reality itself is being pulled toward a single point. Imagine falling into the darkest place in the universe and not dying. No instant destruction. No fading into nothing. Instead, you remain conscious, drifting deeper into a place where time twists, space bends, and reality itself begins to unravel. What would you actually see? What would you feel in your body, in your mind, as the universe stretches you beyond imagination, yet somehow keeps you alive? Today, we explore a terrifying and fascinating question. What if you fell into a black hole and survived? Imagine falling into the darkest place in the universe and not dying.